Turner Field against their National League East rivals from the South, the Florida Marlins. They're the hottest team in July. The Marlins are rejuvenated under Trader Jack. They've won 5 in a row and are 16-8 this month under former skipper Jack McKeon. And their success has been offensive. Ramirez, Morrison, Sanchez, and Stanton have helped blast the Marlins to within a game of 500 after a horrible month of June. So, the Marlins bring their big sticks to Turner Field to face off against the Braves and their top-flight pitching staff. Who will prevail, the big bats of the Fish or the superb arms of the Braves? Find out with us as we open up this 3-game weekend set. It's another beautiful baseball night for the Atlanta Braves here at Turner Field. And tonight we begin a 3-game series with their division rivals from the South. Indeed, the red-hot Florida Marlins are coming to town. All year long, Braves baseball on Peachtree TV and Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, The Right Stuff, and The Low Price. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip back at the ballpark. Here come the Marlins. They're only a game under 500. And we haven't seen them for a while. Get used to it. We play them 12 more times the rest of the way, starting with Game 1 tonight.
Jack McKeon has really lit a fire under these guys, Chip, and they're playing much better baseball. He's a no-nonsense guy, as you know, and after this ball club went 5-23 in June, and 2 of those wins were on the last 2 days of June, they have really gotten it turned around. They only scored 81 runs the whole month of June. And when you take a look at July, 130 runs. Their offense has kicked it into gear. Hanley Ramirez has been moved into the cleanup spot where he has really turned it up a notch and hitting more like Hanley Ramirez. And as you see, 16 wins already this month. They're not done. They want to come in here and win this series, too.
The last time Jack McKeon took over the Marlins, they won the World Series. They are 8 games behind the Braves in the wild card chase in the National League. Braves try to get back in the win column behind Brandon Beachy in Game 1 tonight. Game one of our weekend series with the Marlins, and Friday Night Braves baseball on Peachtree TV and Fox Sports South is presented by Blimpie. Braves will play the Marlins a lot in the final 2 months of this regular season, and tonight's game begins with another new face for Freddie Gonzalez.
Jose Constanza was called up from Gwinnett just hours ago because Nate McLeod was placed on the disabled list with a strained abdominal muscle that he injured in a throw during the series against the Pirates. So add another guy to your MASH unit.
Fifth different center fielder to start a game for the Braves this season. And here's a look at our Suzuki starting lineups for the red-hot Florida Marlins, averaging 5 runs a game this month. Mike Stanton is having a huge year for the Florida club, leads their team with 24 home runs. And Logan Morrison has knocked in 26 of his 56 RBIs in July.
That throws everything on the shoulders of Brandon Beachy to get it turned around here in the second half. 2 starts since the All-Star break, and they haven't been very good with a lot of walks. 9 walks in 10 2/3 innings in those 2 starts. 3 and 2 on the year. He made a start against Florida back in April, got no decision. 5 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs.
And the man in the batter's box for the Florida Marlins is one reason why they're off to a 16-8 July start. Emilio Bonifacio, a 26-game hitting streak that's active. He's raised his batting average 40 points during this run for Florida and hitting .299. The umpiring crew on a hot night at Turner Field: Adrian Johnson, Fieldon Culbreth, Lance Barksdale at second base, and Gary Cedarstrom at third.
First inning problems for Brandon all year long. 12 runs allowed in the first inning. That's more than any 2 other innings combined. He's also given up a bunch of homers lately, 2 home runs in each of his last 7 starts, and 2 home runs in each of his last 2 starts.
Remember, though, in Cincinnati and in Colorado. But you're right, that's a trend that Brandon hopes to stop tonight, as Bonifacio, taking a lot of pitches out of that leadoff spot, now works the count full. Beachy got him. Beachy strikes out the Marlins leadoff man. Here's the defense behind him from left to right in the outfield: Hinsky, Constanza, and Hayward. Martin Prado at third. Gonzalez, Uggla, Freddie Freeman around the horn, and David Ross, third straight start for an injured Brian McCann. Here's our old pal Omar Infante, the Marlins' second baseman.
He's gotten hot, raised his average up to 266 after a slow first couple of months.
Popped up by the Braves dugout and out of reach for Freddie Freeman.
Braves lead the season series 4-2, but neither one of these 2 teams is doing much offensively against the other. The Marlins are hitting .212 as a team against Atlanta with 3 homers. The Braves are only hitting .195 against Florida pitching, with 18 total runs scored in 6 games. Only 15 runs for the Fish.
Another pop-up. Another long run. And another souvenir. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Infante leads the Florida club with 31 multi-hit games this season. But the Braves have really held him in check. Omar just 2 hits and 25 at-bats. 2-2. Freddie's going to have a play on this one. 2 outs.
The Marlins as a team 8th in the National League in runs scored. That's right in the middle. 7th in homers, right about the middle. 6th in walks. And 6th in on-base percentage. So lately they've been a little more patient at the plate, and especially with Bonifacio having a good month and Fonte having a good month, their numbers have gone up in terms of on-base percentage, and that's added to their run total.
They're glad to have this man back in the lineup. Gabby Sanchez, a terrific young first baseman for the Fish. He's had some hamstring problems. This guy seems to wear the Braves out. Ross and Beachy in early first inning conversation.
He hit a home run off Beachy in that game played here back in April.
Got a good fastball tonight.
Hitting spots with it too. Struck out Bonifacio on a breaking ball, and Infante couldn't get around on the fastball. The thing that's so impressive about Beachy in his first full season in the big leagues is how he's accountable. He'll take responsibility for a bad outing, as he did in Cincinnati, and not blame anybody else for some unearned runs. He took full accountability for the walks.
High fly ball toward left, and that's playable for Eric Hinske. No first inning troubles for Brandon Beachy tonight. He retires the Marlins in order, and his bats go to work in the home after the first inning. Of the first, here come the Braves for Freddie Gonzalez. His Suzuki starting lineup shapes up this way. Jose Constanza leads things off just up from AAA Gwinnett. Freeman and Uggla have been roasting hot in the middle of the Braves order. Eric Hinske will try to protect them. And David Ross, as we mentioned, starting behind the plate.
Listen to the hand for the new kid. Jose Constanza getting in the box against Clay Hensley, who makes his third start after moving out of the bullpen. Hensley with a good fastball and an excellent changeup. Generously listed at 5'9".
And the first pitch he sees as a major leaguer is called a strike.
361 on base percentage for Gwinnett. And a 300+ career average in the minor leagues. All of it with Cleveland prior to this season.
What's going through his head? You made a major league debut once.
Yeah, but this is out of nowhere for him. I mean, completely surprising. Wasn't like a September call-up. And with the way things have been going with the players that the Braves had in center field, this was out of the blue.
Slow roller. And Constanza is out number 1. Nate McLeod injured a lower abdominal muscle. That moved him to the disabled list, and that's why Constanza debuts tonight. As you look at the Florida defense, Hensley and Buck, the battery for the Fish.
Hensley's 31, 5'11", 195 out of Pearland, Texas. He's in his 5th year in the big leagues. He was originally an 8th-round pick by the Giants back in 2002 out of Lamar College. Has the guts of a cat burglar. He will challenge you, but with that changeup, he can make you look bad too.
Martin Prado has a 3-game hitting streak working. Martin at 269. A 1-out single for Prado, and a good start for the Braves. It'll bring up Freddie Freeman.
High fastball right down Martin's alley. Looking at the Braves' numbers against the Marlins for the season, and I told you as a team they're only hitting 195. The top average for a Braves individual this year against Florida is Alex Gonzalez, and he's 6 for 24, a 250 average.
Here's Freddie Freeman. 12-game hitting streak. And a 404 average during that stretch. And speaking of hitting streaks, our SunTrust solid performances. A couple of familiar faces on that list.
How about that? 3 out of the 4 among active players in this game.
Make it 13. Prado cuts the bag. He'll head to third. Throw cut off there at the corners.
Another fastball, another one elevated, and another one ripped. This is where the Braves have got to start doing a better job, Chip. Their last 6 games, the Braves are 185 with runners in scoring position. They were downright dreadful against the Pirates. They went 6 for 45 against Pittsburgh. So you've got to get that guy in, and as hard a time as they're having right now scoring runs, when you can pick up a single here and there, you got to do it.
So Freeman extends his hitting streak. Dan Uggla, the former Marlin, will try to extend his run to 20.
So having a hard time getting the ball down so far. High fastball there.
We've seen Dan hit collarbone high pitches about 500 feet.
Yeah. Here are some of the numbers, and they're not pretty for the Braves offense lately. Last 6 games they've gone 2-4, barely averaging 2 runs a game. Tons of singles, and outside of Uggla and Freeman, the rest of the team hitting .232.
So let's see if Dan gets anything good to hit. His red hot streak working as well. 1 ball, 1 strike.
25 hits in those 19 games. Best breaking ball Hensley's thrown so far.
And fought it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Freddie Gonzalez knows these Marlins very well. Of course, he managed them. And we will see the fish a lot. First of 12 games left head-to-head on the championship schedule. And a roller toward third. 1 there. 2 there. A double play. Around the horn retires the side. Braves bounced into 4 double plays last night. They bounce into 1 in the first, and our game remains scoreless after 1. Edwin Rodriguez at the helm of the Marlins, and McKeon in the dugout has made magic for Hanley Ramirez, the shortstop.
The day Jack McKeon took over, naturally he had a meeting with his team, and Ramirez was in the lineup, but he missed the meeting. He got there late, and McKeon scratched his name out of the lineup and didn't play him the next day, and all of a sudden the tone had been set. And then when he did call Hanley in, he said, "You want to be the man? Fine, you're the cleanup hitter." And with that, Hanley took off.
And the Marlins with him. Jeffrey Loria owns the Florida Ball Club, hoping for a repeat of that incredible 2003 season that saw the Marlins shock the world and win the World Series. They'll start play tonight a game under 500. with a lot of time left and a lot of games head-to-head with Atlanta.
Well, Jack's pedigree speaks for itself, and he knows how to run a club, and he knows what it takes to win, and he has a great saying that I just love. He says, I'm here to win. I'm not here to develop players. You develop players in the minor leagues. And some writers ask him questions at times about his use or sometimes overuse of guys out of the bullpen. He said, I'm not worried about development. I'm worried about winning.
Yeah, he's benched guys. He's yanked starters out of games early. He's gotten relief pitchers in the middle of counts at seemingly odd times. But you can't argue with not only what Jack McKeon's pedigree is, as you said, but what they're doing right now. They're 16-8 this month. Fly ball to center. Constanza's first chance.
Big adjustment when you come to the big leagues from the minor leagues. No matter where you've been playing, you don't play anywhere where there are stadiums that are this high, and sometimes it's a little difficult to pick the ball up off the bat in terms of depth perception and how far the ball is hit. Takes you a while to get used to that.
And don't know how much batting practice Jose got today. He flew in from Raleigh-Durham, where Gwinnett is playing, and got here while the Braves were either just starting or about to start their batting practice today.
Well after 5 o'clock, I know that.
Here's Logan Morrison, the Marlins left fielder, looking to own the RBI record for the month of July all to himself.
As a Marlin.
As a Marlin, yes. Tied with Kevin Millar with 26. And 56 overall this year. What's interesting, too, about the Jack McKeon story, Jack's 81 years old. You talk to him, he acts half his age. As Beachy walks Morrison, that's the first Florida base runner. And for McKeon, this is not his first rodeo either. This is the 5th time in his managerial career in the big leagues he's taken over a team in midseason. So he's done this before, and he's obviously won before in this situation.
Again, a track record on that. Apparently he had a conversation with this guy, this great player, Mike Stanton. He said, you know, Mike, I'm 80 and I feel 20. You're 20 and you're playing like you're 80. This Mike can make it look easy, and he doesn't move real fast when he's walking around. So he lit a fire under him too.
24 home runs for Mike Stanton.
We learned tonight something about Mike Stanton we didn't know, and that is that he swings a real small bat. For a guy that's 6'4" and 250, he likes like a 33-inch bat that's about 31 ounces. And if he doesn't hit it just right, it splinters. And I don't know who keeps such stats, but we've got it for you. The most broken bats in Major League Baseball this year.
Somebody at Stats Inc. is living in Mom's basement. You surprised a guy as big and strong as Stanton uses such a light bat?
Yes.
But what does that do?
Well, sometimes, I mean, it's so light in his hand, I'm sure that he gets out there a little quick, and things like you just saw, he's chasing pitches and can't stop. Chipper, when he was in A ball, got a 34-ounce bat handed to him by Willie Stargell and said, you learn to swing this. And 34 ounces is pretty heavy by modern standards. And Chipper took a while for him to adjust to it, but he said, I learned right away what benefit there was and how you don't have to swing a heavy bat as hard. The bat does the work to get it to the right place.
Up the middle. Alex, with a glove flip to Uggla. What a play.
From glove to bare hand to scoop.
Of the 8 o'clock hour on a beautiful night for baseball in Atlanta. Great crowd here for the Braves and Marlins game 1. Fireworks after the game and hopefully fireworks during for the Atlanta Bats. Not many home runs of late for the hometown team as they square off with right-hander Clay Hensley. It'll be Hinsky, Ross, and Hayward coming up for the first time. One ball, no strikes.
Two teams in the middle of the National League East been playing pretty good baseball recently. Marlins just completed a stretch where they won 5 in a row and 6 out of 10, and the Mets swept the Reds in Cincinnati. They won 7 out of 10 and 4 in a row.
The Mets are winning again tonight, beating Washington 5-0.
Pirates didn't go into Philly pitching quite like they did here.
No. Yeah, Charlie Morton had a rough start. Phillies have tagged the Pirates for 8 runs in the first 2 innings. And that one, Charlie Morton versus Roy Halladay.
Walked by Eric today after I learned that Nate McLeod had gone on the disabled list. I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "No, not really, but I'm better than everybody else."
It really is amazing the Braves are where they are, considering how many men have been and are injured for this team right now.
And remember, Nate had an oblique injury earlier in the season. I don't know if these two might somehow be related, but he said, I'm told that he injured it on a throw, trying to throw the ball from center field to home plate during the Pirates series, maybe yesterday.
Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hinske chased a high fastball. It was out of the strike zone. He's the first Hensley strikeout of the game. Delta Airlines is a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. Let's see if David Ross can take a trip here in the second inning. Ross with 4 homers and a .294 average. Nice to make Hensley work, getting that Florida bullpen. This is his 3rd start since coming off the DL with some shoulder problems. He had a shoulder sprain. As Joe mentioned, he'd been out of the bullpen all year. Back-to-back 5-inning assignments. And he gets Ross on a ground ball to third for the second out.
Yeah, when they sent him on his rehab, that was the plan. They said, let's stretch him out, get him some work in where he is getting some arm strength back, and we'll put him in the rotation because Josh Johnson's not coming back. He's out for the year, which is a real crime for the Marlins. And they've had some other guys that haven't pitched well in recent days.
Jason Hayward bats. Jason squared up a couple of baseballs last night. I thought he hit a home run. That drive to straightaway center field that McCutcheon caught. Quickly, 0-2. Rolled out towards second. Omar Infante makes short work of Jason Hayward. Braves out in order in the second inning. No score.
Jameson Inn. Live large, pay less.
Great to see the youngsters at the ballpark. Hate to break the news to you kids, but the start of school's right around the corner. And no score after 2, and another new face facing the Braves for the first time in this Atlanta-Florida series.
Now Mike Cameron placed on waivers by the Red Sox, and the Marlins grabbed him right away. "38 years old, still can run it down in center field. He's had a couple of big hits for Florida since he joined them.
Chris Coughlin was their opening day center fielder, but Coughlin didn't hit well. Was about to be sent to the minor leagues, and it was discovered his knee was bothering him. He's been placed on the disabled list. As Cameron lines right to Eric Hinske.
It's hard for me to imagine that Chris Coughlin wasn't hitting enough to stay in the big leagues, since he just tears the Braves up.
Cameron's the first out. Here is John Buck, the catcher. He has not had much luck away from his home park. That's his season average. 11 homers. However, not good.
190, the lowest in the National League. Signed as a free agent after playing last year in Toronto. Still have to go through my progressions as I did earlier this year against Florida, where I have to go Joe, Jack, John, Buck.
Yes. How about that? Buck has a base hit. It comes with one out. It'll bring Hensley to the plate. It's the first of the night for Florida. As we mentioned, Hensley's been in the bullpen all year. Not many opportunities for him to hit. This will be his third.
Looking for his first sacrifice, too.
His last a little more than 3 years ago to the day. A ball, one strike.
And given his lack of practice and with a catcher running at first, if you get on top of him, and especially with a fastball, if he bunts it, you might have a chance to get the lead runner.
Beachy will handle and take the sure out. Buck at second. Two are out on a 1-4 sacrifice. Join us for the Braves Hall of Fame luncheon at the Omni Hotel. We induct legendary Braves manager Bobby Cox into the Braves Hall of Fame. Reserve your tickets today for this historic event and have lunch with current and former Braves players. Call 404-614-2310 today.
Great day. You'll enjoy yourself. A lot of alumni are going to be there too.
Bonifacio struck out his first time up. Remember, a 26-game hitting streak on the line tonight.
And check out his versatility. The fact that this guy has started at least one game in every position on the field except first, catcher, and pitcher.
Squib foul past third, 0-2. You and I have talked about how valuable players like that are for a major league team, and that was a great benefit Atlanta had last year. They had not only Martin Prado, but Omar Infante, who could fill that role.
Bonifacio came from the Nationals along with about 3 other players in exchange for Josh Willingham and Scott Olson a couple of years ago. Struck him out with a breaking ball in the first inning. See what they try to come up with here. 398 in July. That's not too bad.
39 for 101. And that one in the dirt. It's missed. Ross throws him out. Bonifacio is 0 for 2. Beachy's through 3 innings and still no score. TV and Fox Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, the right stuff, and the low price. Joe and Chip with you from Turner Field. Glad you're with us tonight. A spectacular evening for baseball. Let's see if the Braves can break through with the bottom part of their batting order. Alex Gonzalez, Brandon Beachy, and Jose Constanza. Alex has 4 hits in his last 8 at-bats. And was an original signing by the Florida Marlins back in 1994. Broke in with the big league club in '98. Played there through the 2005 season.
Be a nice way to start the inning. Walk and pitcher coming up.
The 3-1 pitch popped up, and Alex slams the bat. And Buck with a one-handed catch for out number 1. Trivia time at the ballpark. Our AT&T U-verse trivia question. We are on quite a roll.
Well, except for last night.
Well, who was the last Marlin not named Hanley Ramirez to lead the team in stolen bases?
Luis Castillo.
That's what I was thinking. But it's so obvious it's probably wrong. Scott Pose. Cameron Maben. Gary Sheffield.
I'm sticking with Castillo.
Going to stay Castillo?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon a good cut, but falls behind 1 and 2.
Brandon got his first hit in the last start at Cincinnati.
That one's surrounded by Hanley Ramirez. And 2 are out. Braves got 2 hits in the first inning off Hensley. But Dan Uggla hit into a 5-4-3 double play to end that threat. The Braves 6 for their last 46 with runners in scoring position. Now Constanza bats. He tapped back to the mound. Love stories like this guy coming into this season. Almost 3,000 minor league at bats. And now with his year at Gwinnett, over 3,000 minor league at bats before he gets his first in the bigs.
Good for him. Staying with it, persevering.
Rolled out towards second. And that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Hensley set down 7 straight. We go to the 4th. Still no score. Hensley only 3 hits in total. And now Brandon goes through the Marlins attack for a second time with Infante, Sanchez, and Hanley Ramirez coming up. Kids have been sporting the Braves Mohawks on this homestand. And red one the other night. That one Braves blue.
getting them out of the way before school starts.
Here's Omar. He popped out to first.
A lot of fastball so far to Infante. Remember, he couldn't get around on some in the first inning when he kept fouling them off over by the Braves dugout.
That one popped into shallow right. One out. And you mentioned too, for Beachy, his last couple of starts, his breaking pitches were inconsistent in Cincinnati and Coors Field in Colorado.
At times there are games where Brandon has his curveball but not his slider, or his changeup and neither one of the breaking pitches. But tonight, so far so good. Looks like everything's working. Has a good breaking ball.
And here's Sanchez. I like this guy. He's a good player, good hitter, and this season an excellent glove man at first. Hometown kid out of Miami, and he just missed a double and is behind 0-2.
To hit the way he does in that crouch, you got to have strong legs, and he's got those. Our Sunshine House leaderboard, most extra base hits among National League first basemen. Prince Fielder at the top, but Freddie Freeman and Gabby Sanchez tied with 40. Yes, he did.
That looked off speed. Sanchez, the third strikeout victim tonight.
No argument from Gabby. And again, he's been out. He's missed the last 3 games with that bad hammy, and when he pulls a hammy, that's a big injury.
Here's Ramirez.
Braves missed him some in their earlier series. One here, one down there. He only had 10 at bats against the Braves coming into this series. He was 4 for 10. Battling some injuries.
But 2 of those hits were homers. You see Eduardo Perez, the new Florida hitting coach, the bottom left of your screen, the blue pen. Eduardo was hired when we last saw the Florida Ball Club, and not surprisingly, he's gotten rave reviews from some of these young Florida hitters, and the numbers certainly prove they've improved. And Beachy is just painting with that fastball tonight.
Beauty.
10-pitch inning. And the Marlins retired in order. When we come back, Dan Uggla will try to extend his hitting streak. It stands at 19 games. He's due up third in the Atlanta fourth. coming up for the Braves. And here is tonight's McDonald's fan of the game.
Now that's some gear. Got the shades on with the stretchy band on them to make sure they don't fall off. His arm's getting a little weary there. That's why he stretched it out while he was drinking that slushie.
Slushie's bigger than he is. Martin Prado singled in the first. That extends his hitting streak to 4 games. And this one popped up to deep short. And Handy Ramirez has that. 1 out.
And with 1 out in the 4th inning, here's our Home Depot know-how question of the game, and it comes from Melba Tomey. Hope I said that right, from Hampton, Georgia. He wants to know what the status of the new Marlins Stadium is. I just checked with our friends Tommy Hutton and Rich Walls, the broadcasters for the Marlins, and they said it's 77% finished. The roof is on. Roughly 30 of the 36,000 seats are in. All that's lacking are the finishing touches and a few more seats. It is ahead of schedule and below budget.
I like that last part especially.
Those are 2 things you just don't ever hear anymore.
Not too often. Most of the seats, I believe, are in the lower bowl in that ballpark. It's got the retractable roof. And it's on the site of the old Orange Bowl, the football stadium, where the Dolphins and the Hurricanes played for so many years. That's another reason why this season is so important for the Marlins. They would love to have a competitive, exciting team to generate interest for the new ballpark and all the new revenues that would bring. But to do that, you got to get to 500 first, and that's what they're trying to do in tonight's ball game. Freeman muscles that ball down the left field line, and he missed an extra base hit. He'll head back 0-2.
I think it'll be interesting next year, depending on how the Marlins finish, if they continue this run they're on, if Jack McKeon is going to stay as the manager, if they'll replace him.
I asked him that before the game tonight. As you see the new ballpark.
Retractable roof stadium. Beautiful new clubhouse once they get the lockers in there, of course. But it's going to be very pretty.
Low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What was Jack's response?
He said, I'm not thinking at all about next year. He said, they asked me to come back and manage. He said, I really missed it. He really missed being around the team every day. He'd be the first to say that at his age, you don't think about buying green bananas, much less worrying about the next baseball season. But he is a great guy, a terrific baseball man, a terrific baseball mind. So much so, Freddie Gonzalez, when he got the Marlins job, Jack McKeon was the first guy he called to ask him to come down to spring training and offer his advice and his knowledge to him, his staff, and his then Marlins team.
Seems to me, I remember your dad saying that, was it Jack McKeon that was the manager of the old Atlanta Crackers when your dad first came to town?
In 1964. And one of our dear friends was also on that team. Our friend who passed away sadly early this year, Bo Osborne, was on that Crackers team. And talked to Jack about that. Did a brief interview with him before the game today. You'll see that before game 2 of the series tomorrow. Freeman golfs that shot to right. And he is retired by Mike Stanton. 2 down. The 9 straight Braves hitters have been set down. Here's Uggla. 19-game hitting streak, 6 homers in the stretch for Dan. 18 homers, 41 RBIs in total. Hensley's been a strike throwing machine. 38 strikes, 14 balls, a total of 52 pitches. Remember, he has not worked past the 5th inning in his first 2 starts for this Florida club.
Got away with one there. He was ahead in the count, thought he'd just lollipop a slow curve in there and almost threw it where Dan could do a double step. Had so much time. The pitch was only 69 miles an hour. John Buck's taking a beating this inning. A lot of foul tips.
Wow, check out the mask.
A hockey paint job with the fish on it. Hensley last year all out of the bullpen, went 3 and 4, but had a great ERA at 2.16 as a setup man. He was the 7th or 8th inning guy usually for the Fish.
You mentioned Josh Johnson going down. That's a big loss for the Florida Ball Club. He's the ace, the horse, the streak stopper, the streak starter. No one has said he's not coming back this year, but it'll be real tough. Injuries he's gone through, and Uggla takes a called 3rd strike and is the 10th straight Brave set down by right-hander Clay Hensley. The scoreless duel continues. Get your game face on, folks. Braves nothing, Marlins nothing. To you in part by Blimpie, by the Home Depot, by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and by Georgia Power. The 2 starting pitchers have the batters all tied in knots tonight. Just 3 hits through 4 innings. Those youngsters don't mind. They love a good pitcher's duel, and they're seeing one tonight. As the Marlins up for the 5th inning, Logan Morrison will go to work first. You mentioned the very light bat that Mike Stanton wields in the batter's box. It's apparently not the case with Logan Morrison. Stanton a 31-ounce bat. Morrison up to 33. Count. 1 ball, 1 strike. In fact, that bat is Mike Stanton's bat. And ball players being superstitious sorts. Morrison used that bat to hit a home run and I guess worked out a deal with Mike.
I know this. Jack McKeon got his attention right away too. He got picked off in a game in Oakland, and Jack didn't play him the next night and was asked why, and he goes, well, he obviously wasn't paying attention. He said, I think he's got a whole lot more going on in his head than just baseball. He's on his Twitter account all the time, and he said he's not going to play until he comes in and asks me why. So he wasn't in the lineup the second day, and Logan Morrison went in, and Jack told him, he said, you got to focus on your game, focus on baseball, not all these outside interests. And he's been locked in since.
26 runs batted in July for Morrison. And we had the graphic at the start of the game. In 28 games in June, the Marlins scored a grand total of 81 runs. This is their 25th game of July. It scored 130.
Well, there were some things that some of the players had to kind of learn. I mean, Jack McKeon for Bonifacio, who's leading off and doing so well, he would give him the steal sign, he wouldn't go. Give him the steal sign, he wouldn't go. Jack finally explained to him, when I give you the steal sign, that's not for you to decide yay or nay. I want you to steal. If you get thrown out, then it's on me.
Morrison walks to lead off the 5th inning. And didn't Jack go so far as to give away his intentions in a game when Bonifacio didn't run?
Yeah, when he didn't run after the second time he'd given him the sign, and I think it was in Oakland again, he stood up on the top step and cupped his hands around his mouth and screamed to Bonifacio, run!
Second walk for Beachy. Stanton bats. He hit into a double play his first time. Well, it's just fascinating to me again. You have a manager that's been around as long as McKeon, 60 some odd years in professional baseball. Some wonder, well, how are you going to relate to Generation X 20 and 21-year-old kids? And it seems to me that blunt honesty has been the very best policy for him.
That, in fact, the game is still the same. The rules are the same, and the fundamentals by which the game is played or should be played are the same. It's a matter of how many or who on your team wants to execute it and play it that way.
Another double play ball maybe, but Alex dropped it. So trouble afoot for Florida in the 5th inning.
That'll be the 9th error on Alex. Was planning and getting ready to get rid of it. Just came out of his hand. It was the transfer.
Mike Cameron bats with 2 on and nobody out. Cameron lined out to left. That led off the Florida 3rd.
Didn't Cameron have a 4-home run game while with Seattle against the White Sox?
I'll check.
Players aren't the only ones that didn't see that one. I didn't have any idea where that ball went.
We feel your pain, David. Yep, Cameron did it. 4 home runs in 4 consecutive at-bats. One of 12 major leaguers that have done it. May 2nd, 2002 at Comiskey Park. Let's see if the Braves can turn this one. Uggla unloads quickly. Morrison to third, 2 outs.
Nice feed from Martin, too. If he doesn't cut that ball off, they don't get the double play. Cut it off right in front of Alex and gave a quick flip to Uggla for the turn.
Let's see if the Braves pitch around Buck and go after Hensley. They will. Intentional pass is the 3rd walk of the night for Beachy. You're right about that 4-homer game. 4 homers, 4 at-bats, all in the first 5 innings.
No fooling.
He had 2 of them in the first inning.
Wow.
A gigantic game against the White Sox. In fact, Seattle scored 15 times that day.
What a night to know that you're already 4 for 4 with 4 homers and you're only halfway through the game.
What's that like, Joe? I'm sure.
Well, let me tell you, Chip. Oh, they're walking Buck. Oh, wait, there's ball 4. Guess I won't have time.
Should we wait till the pitcher comes up the next time?
Probably.
So the intentional walk puts runners at the corners in the Florida 5th. Good to see Beachy pitching well. He needed a game like this.
David Ross motioning for Jason Hayward to come in. He was too deep.
One ball, no strikes. For the most part, he's put that fastball right where he's wanted to.
Just got to love his arm action, especially out of the stretch. It's so short and quick. Good swing there by Hensley. He was on that. Braves have been getting hurt lately by pitchers. Don't want to have that happen here again.
Kevin Correa had an RBI hit yesterday.
Started with that Zach Britton home run. All right, well, they've been around the plate with the last 2 pitches, and he's fouled them off and had good swings at them. Time to go somewhere off the plate. See if he'll chase. And he didn't.
Got him with a breaking ball. Beachy's 5th strikeout. The Marlins perplexed. Brandon Beachy, pitching a gem, needs some offensive support in a scoreless game. As you see our Academy Sports and Outdoors game summary. Beachy with 5 innings of 1-hit baseball. Hensley has made it through 4 and has set down the last 10.
Brandon's made good pitches when they have had some guys on base. He's struck out Bonifacio twice, who's got a 26-game hitting streak. And Hensley, who has not pitched more than 5 innings this year, entering his 5th inning, has been sharp, getting some ground balls, and he's fanned a couple.
Braves didn't necessarily have him on the ropes in the 1st inning, but they had 2 men on with 1 out. Runners at 1st and 3rd for Dan Uggla, and he hit into a double play, and the Braves haven't had a base runner since that 1st inning. Let's see what Hinske can do for Atlanta. Eric chased a high fastball and struck out to lead off the 2nd. Runs the last week have been tough to come by. Nobody's scored tonight.
Difference tonight for Hensley versus his first 2 starts, no walks. In his first 2 outings, when he went 5 innings in each start, both times against the Mets. He threw 84 pitches and 86 pitches. He walked 2 in the first game, 4 in the second. He's only at 60 pitches tonight.
And his season high in innings is 5. He's rolling merrily along right now. Let's see if the Braves can chase him or put a dent in his armor. No score with Hinske, Ross, and Hayward. To second. One out. 11 in a row retired. David Ross, the batter. And back to our trivia question tonight. Who's the last Marlin not named Hanley Ramirez to lead the team in stolen bases?
I'm going to go Louis Castillo.
I'll say Juan Pierre. Remember Juan Pierre?
Mm-hmm. You are so cheating.
Pretty much.
But I'm proud of you.
Joe, they call that a media guide. It's there for a reason, you know. Well, they've had some speed demons in their organization, haven't they? Bonifacio, Juan Pierre, Castillo.
Wasn't Ramirez a 20-20 guy or 30-30 guy a couple of years ago?
Yeah, he might have been. Again, I'll check the media guide. Yep. 2008, 35 steals, 33 homers, and hit 300. 301 to be exact. Sanchez at the end of the Braves dugout reaches into the stands, and it's in the stands, so no fan interference.
Good play by the fan down there. Good screen out. We'll let him catch that ball. He reaches in. It's fair game. Good play there by the fan, even though he dropped it. Kept Gabby from getting it.
Fan from Hollywood, Florida has very bad hands. And David Ross out over the outside corner. Third strikeout for Hensley. He's set down 12 in a row. And the base is clear for Jason Hayward. Friday Night Braves baseball on Peachtree TV and Fox Sports South is presented by Grimpy. To me, Beachy's been very successful with his fastball tonight. Hensley has mixed up his pitches.
He's had some good sinking action, too. Fastball's been around 88 to 91, but seen some ground balls tonight on some real good sinkers. 7 ground ball outs.
Two balls, 1 strike. Approaching 9 o'clock on Friday night in Atlanta. No score, Braves and the Florida Marlins. Game 7 head to head with the Fighting Fish. 11 more left on the schedule after tonight's game. And Hayward hits it high in the air to shallow left center field. And Mike Cameron is there to retire the side. We go to the 6th inning. Who will break through first at Turner Field? We'll find out in a moment. By Ford. and by Checkers. Joe and Chip with you from Turner Field. Pitching, and more pitching after 5 innings. Top of the order up for the Marlins: Bonifacio, Infante, and Sanchez. Bonifacio has struck out swinging twice tonight. Again, a 26-game hitting streak. The longest since Louis Castillo's 35-gamer. And the Braves sniff out a bunt and get him by a step.
Smart play by Martin. He had a chance to either glove it or barehand it. And you could see the wheels turning, but had time to glove it and make the transfer.
Braves pitchers have a history of stopping batting streaks, you know. Maybe tonight Bonifacio's will end. He's 0 for 3. Here's Infante. Omar's hit the ball in the air twice. He's popped out to first and he's flied to right. Braves have held him down, just 2 for 27 at the plate. And Beachy's still plenty of life on his fastball.
And still just firing fastball one after another at Omar. Like a straight changeup that got away from him, came out of his hand funny. This time of year, Chip, this trading deadline, I mean, everybody wants to play general manager and make deals, and what would, if this deal or that deal would help the Braves. A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Frank Wren and his staff, Bruce Mano, talking about, you know, certainly they want to help the ball club, but then the responsibility on your shoulders of that deal working, not giving up too much.
One hopper handled it short. Alex played that one nicely. 2 outs.
For the rest of us, it's easy to try to make deals and easy to swap players, but then we don't have to live with the circumstances necessarily, and we don't know all the financial ramifications it might have too.
And you have to temper your present for your future with the talk of what you said, making sure you hope the deal works. But I know Frank and Bruce Mano have been working tirelessly to try to improve the ball club, and they're not done yet. Fly ball to right off the bat of Gabby Sanchez, but we are through inning number 6. It only took Beachy 8 pitches to do that. 3 up, 3 down. More from Atlanta in a scoreless game.
On a double play, turned by Alex Gonzalez, Dan Uggla, and Freddie Freeman. Take a look at it with the freeze cam. Glove to bare hand to the scoop. Nicely done by all three gentlemen. That's Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. My beer.
Here's Alex. Let's get this guy in the stretch, huh? 13 straight have been set down by Clay Hensley in this game. I mentioned the trade deadline, July 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern Time is the deadline for deals to be announced without waivers. It's an exciting time for fans. It's a tiring time, I'm sure, for general managers. What's it like for the players these last 48 hours?
It'd be unsettling if your name's been thrown around there for a couple of weeks, if not longer. Wondering if it's actually going to happen, and then you get to the 11th hour, like we're fast approaching, and it can be very unsettling.
I'm always amazed, too. You talk about big names that do get traded, guys that don't move. It's the number of deals that take place in those final 5-6 hours before the deadline that ratchet up a lot of interest. As Stanton in right takes care of Alex, it's 14 in a row set down by Hensley.
I don't know how that works, but I would assume, just my opinion, that there are probably some deals in place or multiple deals where when it does get close to the deadline, that a team decides, okay, this is our best possibility, so boom, you don't have time to really negotiate anything else, so this is our best opportunity to improve our club. Let's do it.
Beachy is buzzed inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Hensley, by the way, with that out, has gone deeper in a game than he has at any point this season. Now 5 innings and 1/3 for Florida. Hard hit ball toward Bonifacio at third. And 2 are out. Join us for the Braves Alumni Weekend, August 12th through the 14th, when the Cubs come to town. Great events planned all weekend long. We'll retire Bobby Cox's number 6 on Friday night. We'll celebrate the 20th anniversary of the 1991 Braves worst to first team. The Alumni Legends game on Saturday, and autographs for fans throughout the weekend. Visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. As a member of that 91 Braves team on the Marlins bench tonight. Pitching coach Randy St. Clair pitched on that team. In fact, Randy bounced up and down between Richmond and Atlanta most of the second half of that season and made the playoff roster when Juan Berenguer got hurt. Constanza is retired for the 3rd and final out of the 6th inning, and our duel heads to the 7th with no score. Brandon Beachy's firing a one-hit shutout at Florida through 6. Clay Hensley's got a 2-hitter working, and no score in game 1 of what should be a very entertaining series. Game 2 follows here tomorrow night, and that's our Jamison Inn upcoming schedule.
Anibal Sanchez having a good year, 6-3 with an nice ERA. He's 4-7 lifetime against the Braves, 3-5 in this ballpark, and Tim Hudson due for his 10th win tomorrow.
Part of the order up for the Fish. Hanley Ramirez is 0 for 2. Hanley picked up a big milestone hit about 3 weeks ago, his 1,000th hit as a big leaguer. But still strange seeing him hit in the mid-200s. 245 to be exact.
But he's driving in runs in that cleanup spot. 28 RBIs in his last 39 games.
And I loved your story about Jack McKeon telling Hanley, you want to be the man? You're hitting 4th. He's hitting like a man hitting 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Fouled off David Ross. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hanley's been known the night before a day game maybe come up a little gimpy or something where he might not be able to play in that day game after a night game. Jack McKeon doesn't care. He's still playing, so he doesn't pull it as much.
Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, you mentioned Jack McKeon. He doesn't need the aggravation. He doesn't need the job. He loves it. He loves baseball, loves the challenge, loves being around the game. 2-time manager of the year. He's got a championship ring. In fact, Jack McKeon, you're looking at the oldest man ever to win a World Series. That's right, older than Casey Stengel, older than Connie Mack. For Jack McKeon, 80's just a number. He's still sharp as a tack. And again, we'll talk with him before game 2 tomorrow. Toward 3rd. Sunday hop on a Friday night. 1 out in the 7th. Here is Logan Morrison. Morrison was originally a first baseman. I guess the closest approximation for Braves fans would be, imagine Ryan Klesko in the form of Logan Morrison playing left field. Terrific big bopper from the left side.
I would guess if you ask him, he'd say, I'm still a first baseman. I just don't get to play there. But everybody you talk to, scouts and otherwise, they like Logan Morrison.
Every time I see this kid, I remember the story of when we were in Florida last year when he got hit in the face with that foul ball. While he was standing in the on-deck circle. Not only did Morrison come away from that with nothing but a bruise, they were concerned he may have to take some time off with facial issues. He was on the plane and in the lineup the next night in Philadelphia. He's a tough kid. And Beachy retires him on the 102nd pitch of the game.
And with 2 out in the 7th, time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. And this happened yesterday. Mike Stanton in Washington. A line shot like he likes to hit them. His 24th of the year. since he came into the league back on June 8th of 2010, only Albert Pujols has hit more homers than Mike Stanton. How about that?
Is he 21 now?
I think he turns 22 during the winter, like November sometime. I think he's just a little bit younger than Jason and Freddie.
Lined into center. Constanza broke back, got there late, and Stanton never stopped running and will slide in safely. He's at second with 2 outs. That was the question we had in the early moments of our ball game. How would Constanza fare in his first game in this ballpark? He misjudged that ball, and Stanton's aboard with 2 out.
Well, he broke back, but I mean, you can give him a little consideration for that because it was a big swing from Stanton. But you can't, after you've trapped one like that, you can't lie on the ground and hold it up for the umpire while the guy's circling the bases. You got to get up and get it in. He wasn't running that hard.
It's ruled a double. That's the second Florida hit. And here's Cameron, who's lined out and hit into a double play. Fly ball left field. Leaping try. Hinsky's got it.
Wow.
The Diesel comes off the tracks and takes away a hit from Cameron.
Sound the horn. Perfect timing.
That keeps the game scoreless. Time to stretch in Atlanta. No score. Braves order coming up and no score. And here's our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
I'll say scoreless ball game stays scoreless thanks to the Diesel. Timing his jump perfectly and catching that one right out in the web of his glove. To the appreciation of his pitcher and the rest of his teammates. Great play.
So the fans start their chop as Martin Prado goes to work. I know Josh Johnson's hurt, but Clay Hensley's doing a heck of an impersonation, isn't he? A 2-hit shutout so far. Beachy, a 2-hit shutout for the Braves. Up the middle. Good start. First Atlanta hit since the first inning, and that snapped 16 straight retired.
Multi-hit game for Martin, leadoff man aboard. Clay Hensley mad at himself for not being in a little better position to perhaps field his position.
He's also lucky he reached for that ball with a bare pitching hand up the middle.
Former Brave Mike Dunn begins to loosen up.
Here's Freeman. Freeman's got another hit. Prado will turn the corner. Cameron's throw misses the cutoff man. First and third, nobody out.
Four hits in the game for Atlanta. Back-to-back singles by Prado and Freeman in the first. Back-to-back singles in the seventh. And Hensley leaving the ball up a little bit. Made another mistake, and the Braves in business here.
Randy St. Clair's the Florida pitching coach. He's out for a visit. That'll allow the bullpen to get busy for the Marlins. And an amazing stat that we found out tonight. Here's a spot where you need a little contact. Something as simple as a sacrifice fly could give the Braves a 1-0 lead, and boy, have those been tough to come by.
They've only had one sacrifice fly since May 27th. And that one was June 21st, well over a month ago against Toronto. The Braves only have 12 sacrifice flies all year. By comparison, the Florida Marlins have 29. Braves opponents have 21. That's an absolutely amazing number. One of them since late May, because of all the other opportunities they've had to bring somebody in.
Here's Uggla. Can he make it 3 hits in a row and extend his streak? Strike one.
Again for Hensley, his pitch counts in his 2 starts, 84 and 86. He's at 83 right now.
Fly ball. Belted center. Cameron back. Wall. 3-0.
Dan Uggla has a team here tonight that includes his son. He had him on the field, showed him around the batting cage. And what a thrill for them to see him come through like that. Sacrifice flies good, 3-run homers are better.
His 19th home run. And here we are where Dan Uggla has been so good. 7th inning or later.
He's hit him 20 straight.
And Atlanta has struck first. And the reaction of Hensley tells the story. He just turned, bent at the waist moments after Randy St. Clair met with him. And Uggla crushed one to straightaway center. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Eric puts a charge into 1 foul and scatters the fans in right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ski didn't swing. It's 2-2. Braves had him 1st and 3rd in the 1st. Uggla hit into a double play. They had him 1st and 3rd in the 7th, and he unloads. Braves getting real good swings off Hensley now. He's gone past his season high pitch mark. That was his 90th. Remember, he's been in the bullpen. He had some shoulder problems. This is his 3rd since coming back from the DL.
He'd set down 16 in a row before Prado bounced that one back through the middle. But he's getting some pitches up.
And one thing we won't know until the end of the ball game, sometimes when a pitcher is in the windup for 4 or 5 innings in a row, you go to the stretch for the first time, just a little bit short.
That's a good point.
Maybe he was in this 7th. He hasn't been short all night. Infante to first, and 1 down.
Here's the home run. Let's check out the pitch. Slider. Dan all over to straightaway center. Even had to reach down for it a little bit and launched it. Mike Cameron in his career very good at going up over the wall and bringing home runs back, but he wasn't going to bring that one back. And there was Dan pointing to his son's team.
Here's David Ross. Popped up. Buck to the screen. Well played, 2 out. They were ready to make the catch.
Sure they were. There's a little bit of panic on the look of their faces.
Here's Jason. Hayward's 0 for 2. Hey, you're right about Dan hosting the Little Leaguers today. He came out of the dugout holding his son's hand. He said, "I got a busy day today." And all of a sudden, it was like a mother duck and all the ducklings.
I think there were 32 passes he needed for tonight. There's some of them. They see each other. No, don't take your shirt off, pal. No.
2 balls and a strike. That one off the side of the mound, and Handy Ramirez to first. Retires the side. Well, for years they said his name is Dan Uggla when he'd go deep. They're saying it again in Atlanta and in South Florida. A 3-run homer in the 7th gives Beachy and the Braves a 3-0 lead. Brandon Beachy, a 3-0 lead. Welcome back to the ballpark. Joe Simpson, Chip Carey with you. That's one big story. Here's the other. Reported by Ken Rosenthal at FoxSports.com. The Phillies get their man. They did apparently get Hunter Pence, who was taken out of the game for Houston. Hugs all around for Pence. He's on his way to the Phillies for Jonathan Singleton, Jared Cosart, and 2 players to be named later.
Singleton and Cosart were 2 of the guys that were mentioned prominently all along for Hunter Pence, and it was a case where the Astros needed a handful of guys to kind of replenish their farm system, and that's what they were holding out for. They get 2 more guys to go with those top prospects.
And online, it's been reported that one of those names might be announced before the night is done. But in continuing our conversation we were having a moment ago, it's a very difficult balance when you have a terrific minor league system, as the Braves do, loaded with pitching. How much to give away with the uncertainty of how a player is going to perform in a new uniform. Pence is a terrific player.
I always go back to and more or less laugh at the fact when people bring up the Mark Teixeira trade and how everybody says, oh, it was just such an awful trade. Well, I guess if you want to say that a couple of those guys really turned out to be valuable parts of the Rangers, yes. And the fact that the Braves were not able to sign Teixeira to a long-term deal, okay. But for every Teixeira deal, there's been 10 or 15 others the Braves have made where they have gotten exactly who they wanted, and the players that they traded away, the prospects they traded away, did not become valuable members of the new club.
John Buck, a 1-hopper too short, good stretch, 1 out.
You know, so every time somebody brings up the Teixeira trade, then I bring up the Fred McGriff trade or another one that has always seemed to pan out in the Braves' way. And you just don't know with prospects. They may be highly touted, but they may not amount to the major league player that everybody expects them to be.
Yeah, how about Jair Jurgens and Edgar Renteria? How about John Smoltz and Doyle Alexander? I mean, the list goes on. And the game won't go on for Beachy. He gets a big pat on the back, and listen to this crowd. What a job Beachy turned in. Back at Turner Field and back commanding his fastball, which he limited to 2 hits for the Florida Marlins tonight. And the AT&T call to the bullpen answered by Eric O'Flaherty, and Brian Peterson will bat for the Marlins.
Peterson was having himself quite a year in New Orleans, hitting .351, made the PCL All-Star game, and has done a good job as a pinch hitter for the Marlins. Eric O'Flaherty's been pretty good for the Braves leading all relievers in ERA.
Fouled away by Peterson, a ball and the strike. Here's our Delta Airlines on deck batter, Emilio Bonifacio. His hitting streak may be on the line. Remember, this is a Marlins team averaging about 5 runs a game coming in. Beachy absolutely shut them down. And a soft line drive, and easy out. And now here's the subplot to the ball game. O'Flaherty will try to end Bonifacio's great run. Bonifacio does not have the all-time Marlin record. We told you Luis Castillo, 35 games back in 2002. And now he turns around and bats right-handed. Infield in at the corners. 1 ball, no strikes.
One of the things Jack McKeon tried to get Bonifacio to do as their leadoff man when he took over was take more pitches. He said, you may strike out more and we can live with that, but you're going to get on base more as a result too.
Toward third. Prado guns him out. And Bonifacio is 0 for 4. His streak might come to an end, and perhaps the Braves at home ready to start a winning streak. They lead 3-0. Well, after that spectacular re-tease, here's our Blimpie game re-summary. The Braves with a 3-run homer from Dan Uggla.
Ian Brandon Beachy, the story of the night. Beachy 7 1/3 innings, a 2-hit shutout ball. One of those walks was intentional, struck out 6, and the home run for Uggla. He's hit so many solo shots this year, but that was a 3-run jack, 407 feet to straightaway center. Prado and Freeman have accounted for the other 4 hits between them. Freddie's hitting streak up to 13 games.
Former Brave Mike Dunn now takes over for the Marlins. The Braves traded Mike and Omar Infante, as you know, for Dan Uggla November 16th of last year.
Dunn's getting a lot of work. This is his 48th game. A lot of decisions, too, all out of the bullpen, but more strikeouts than innings pitched, and he's cut down on his walks a bit, too, 28.
One thing we noticed when we last saw the Marlins was how much better their bullpen was. That was a big problem for them last season. And they really worked overtime to change some of the faces down there. Randy Choate, Dunn, Mojica came over.
Yeah, Freddie Gonzalez would have loved to have had some of those guys in his pen when he was there.
Yeah, their relief corps, 22 wins, 20 losses, 31 saves, and 42 tries, and a 3.39 collective ERA.
That was something else Jack McKeon did, was he said Leo Nunez is the closer. He will finish games, but everybody else be ready to go at any time.
Dunn got the inside corner.
I guess. Maybe just the way Buck caught it made it look worse.
Buck caught that one on a tip. And Alex is out number 1 in the 8th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Atlanta National League Baseball Club Incorporated. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves. Brooks Conrad will pinch hit. He bats for O'Flaherty, who faced 2 hitters, got them both out. Sets the game up perhaps for Craig Kimbrell in the 9th.
Conrad 8 for 36 as a pinch hitter, 3 homers.
Boy, how nice was this for the bullpen tonight to have Beachy take this game deep.
Everybody kind of sit back and enjoy watching this one.
7 1/3 inning with a 2-hit ball. And Conrad lines one over third. Brooks on his way to second. The throw late. A 1-out double.
He can square up some baseballs, can he? Only a second hit right-handed. The other was a homer, so now he's got a double to go with that. I mean, right on the button. It just sounded like a firecracker going off. That is shin guard flopping all over the place. That's why they call him Dirt.
Here's Constanza. Again, a good cut, and is down a strike. In case you missed it, Nathan McLeod to the disabled list today. A lower abdominal strain. Constanza brought up from Gwinnett. To take his place on the 40-man roster, the Braves have designated Diori Hernandez for assignment. No balls and a strike. Talked with Freddie before the game today. Chipper's able to pinch hit tonight. He's hoping to have him back in the lineup perhaps as early as this weekend. One and two.
I really hope Jeff was talking to Chipper there in that scene we just had, because otherwise it was an odd shot.
Go. Yeah.
So yes, they were.
Up the middle. Base hit, Constanza. Conrad will score his first big league hit. Puts Atlanta up 4-0.
Seven years in the minor leagues. Jim Lover will take care of that one, and a standing ovation from the 36,000 here tonight. And not only that, he drives in a run. What'd you say, over 3,000 minor league at bats?
Yeah, it's, including this year, yes. And we've talked a lot about how one of the great things about baseball is no two games are alike. As Prado bats with one out. No matter how many times you see a guy get his first big league hit, at least for me, you still get chills. Especially with what you just mentioned, the bus rides, the countless hours of batting practice, praying, hoping for a chance, and finally your dream comes true. What a night.
Especially when you think about the 7 years he spent in the minor leagues. Only the last couple have been in AAA. Everything else has been AA and below. And 2 years ago at Akron, he stole 49 bases.
Martin sprays one foul. It's 0-2.
Scott Linebrink, Scott Linebrink had joined Kimbrel. I don't know if they'll bring Kimbrel into the game now with a 4-run lead or not.
1-2 with one out. Martin looking for his 6th 3-hit game of the year if he can reach in the 8th. Amazing stat in that regard. Freddie Freeman leads the team in 3-hit games this season. Freddie has 13 of them.
Martin showing real good signs of getting his timing back. Picked on that high pitch his first time up. That was a good sign.
That's Martin Prado. Look at Constanza fly. He's at third, standing up.
Well, watching Constanza go first to third was very exciting and fun, but you got to watch this swing, folks. Watch Martin fall backwards here. I'm not sure where he was going or if he just got fooled on the breaking ball, but that was outstanding. Jose can motor.
Another mound meeting for the Marlins, who trail 4-0. And Freddie Freeman striding to the batter's box. Freeman has a 13-game streak. Uggla has a 20-game streak. Those will be active tomorrow night for Game 2.
Kimbrel has taken a seat. Langbrink continues to throw. Lefty righty, hard throwing, soft tossing, doesn't matter to Freddie. Dan on deck had the big blow last inning.
Freeman hitting .244 this year against left-handed pitching. 5 homers, 14 RBIs. Braves getting it done against Dunn in the 8th inning. 3 hits against him. And a big 4th run. The Marlins just saw the Washington Nationals, and they have a terrific young player as well, Danny Espinosa, a man that they're touting for the Rookie of the Year award. And we asked a couple of folks that travel with them, who's the Rookie of the Year? They had a very interesting answer. Granted, there's still 2 months left in the season, but for them, they said it has to be either Craig Kimbrel or this guy, Freddie Freeman, for the Braves.
He said Espinosa's been in a bit of a slump.
He hits it the opposite way. Constanza tags. Morrison's throw won't nearly be in time. And there is that ever elusive sacrifice fly.
Finally. And look at all the veterans greeting Jose Constanza with his first hit, first RBI, first run scored. First sacrifice fly for the Braves since June 21st, and only the second one since May 27th.
Atlanta 5, Florida nothing. Here's Uggla. And now with 10 home runs from the 7th inning on this year. He got the Braves in the run column with a 3-run shot. I was thinking about a long one there.
That was our Toyota play of the game. Went down and got a slider and hit it 407 feet. Probably got strong. A 3-run shot. 44 RBIs for the year. What a night, though, for Jose.
Dan has talked all year long about the importance of his timing at the plate. He said he lost it the first couple of months. But as the season's gone on, he has not missed many pitches.
Certainly not in the last 20 games. Ooh.
26 hits, 7 of them homers. Missed that one, though. And it retires the side. The Braves add 2 more to their run total tonight. Jose Constanza, his first big league hit, first big league RBI, his first big league run. And with 3 more outs, he'll celebrate his first big league win with Atlanta. 5-0 is your score. Nothing. And we go to the top half of the inning. Our AT&T called to the bullpen, answered by right-hander Scott Linebrink.
Four and 2 on the year. Nice ERA of 3.02. Was in 3 of the 4 games against the Pirates. Did not pitch last night, so he had a day off. Didn't allow a run against the Pirates in those 3 outings, covering 2 1/3 innings.
So how about a quick and snappy 9th inning? He's got Infante, Sanchez, and Hanley Ramirez coming up. One streak snapped, perhaps that the hitting streak of Bonifacio. Braves 3 outs away from breaking Florida's 5-game winning run, kicking them back another game in the wild card standings. Florida was 8.5 back at the start of play tonight, behind Atlanta.
And Brandon Beachy, in his short, brief career, had not had a lot of success against the National League East, but that's because it seemed like every time he pitched against the East, it was against the Phillies. This would be his first win within the division.
Two balls, 1 strike. Fly ball to right. No trouble for Jason. 1 out. Omar's 0 for 4 and 2 for 29 against the Braves this year. First baseman Gabby Sanchez. He's 0 for 3. And 2. Hudson and Anibal Sanchez here tomorrow night.
See, I think in the interest of speeding the game up, since that bounced back onto the field in fair territory, Uggla should have been able to throw him out.
Like it? That's a fair ball. And into the left field corner. Gabby Sanchez has a 1-out double. His 25th two-base hit of the year. And the Marlins have faint hope.
Hanging breaking ball.
Hanley Ramirez is 0 for 3 tonight. Florida's been shut out 8 times this year. Braves have 10 shutouts to their credit. Let's see if Linebrink can preserve this one.
Last 2 managers over in that dugout have really enjoyed their gum. Clint Hurdle with about 10 sticks of bubble gum in his mouth, and Mr. McKeon working it over too.
Those 2 guys being your top 10 bubblegum chewers in baseball history?
I don't have a top 10.
You have top 2 though, right?
Well, last 2.
Yes. I was real proud of Clint Hurdle not swallowing his gum at the end of that 19-inning game. Two balls, no strikes. Two and two. Casual fans might wonder how the Marlins got Hanley Ramirez into their organization. He was originally a Red Sox farmhand. He came over with pitchers Jesus Delgado, Harvey Garcia, and Anibal Sanchez. The deal that sent Josh Beckett, Mike Lowell, and Guillermo Mota to the Red Sox before the 2006 season.
And isn't it funny the way things work out? If there's one spot where the Red Sox could really improve themselves, it would be at shortstop.
Hanley's 27, signed through 2014. And he drives one to right. Hayward to his left. Runner will not tag. 2 outs. Here's Morrison. Logan's walked twice, struck out swinging. Morrison was born and raised in Marlin, a 22nd round pick back in 2005. Lives in Slidell, Louisiana. Was born in Kansas City. And went to Maple Woods Community College. That's the same school that Albert Pujols attended. Nothing in 2 to Morrison. Braves win it 5-0. Scott Linebrink finishes things off. What a performance from Brandon Beachy, the debut of Jose Constanza, and Dan Uggla continues his hitting heroics as the Braves win by 5.